Awesome. Awesome. So yeah, so I really appreciate you coming out. I know we kind of had a couple times there we had to reschedule, just we're both pretty busy. So
100%. My absolute pleasure.
yeah. So obviously we don't really know each other super well, but I've been following you a little while since, I've been in the fitness industry. So I really wanted to kind of have you on because fitness has always been a huge part of my life. Also starting to realize as I get a little bit older that also the mental wellness portion is very important as well. So
much.
Yeah. And I
more so than the other.
Exactly. And I think we tend to forget.
100%.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about you, like where you're from? Who is Karla Gillis?
So I am a passionate little lady.
Very passionate.
Very, very. Through my own struggles, I found my own strength. And I know that's cliche to say. They kind of always say that, but it's so true.
Yeah.
Usually you level up by giving energy to the parts of yourself that you avoid.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, I grew up in Cape Breton and had a wonderful life, wonderful family, never got into trouble, anything like that. And I think living in a small town, moving to the city, I had gotten caught up in all of just the hustle, bustle, chaos, fun. I was young. I had never experienced like that type of environment because I was very structured as a child.
Right.
And showed horses and was on the honor roll and did all the things I was supposed to do. And then I moved to the city and kind of lost myself and got into drugs and went down a really long road of drug addiction.
Okay.
Yeah, which is actually almost my blessing in disguise, because had that not happened for me, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you today.
Yeah, well, I mean, I really appreciate you. Sorry, I'm getting my control.
Yeah, no worries.
That out, but yeah, no, I mean, I think we've all had our struggles, and I really appreciate you sharing that with us. So kind of, you do a lot of stuff, actually. You kind of found yourself.
Yeah. So to make a long story short, I found myself, thankfully, and I went back to school and became an executive assistant and did really well with that. And then I was always loved fitness because it saved my life. Because it was kind of weird the way it all happened during a snowstorm one night when I was attending Eastern College. And I had quit drugs and I had been sober for a year and felt strong and moved that energy out of me. So it wasn't really a desire of mine anymore.
Right. It wasn't dragging you down or anything.
Gratefully I think that's, again, a divine gift I was given. And so I kept going with that, loved working out. I found the gym just randomly. It was actually on Spring Garden Road. And I had seen the sign. It was during a snowstorm, and they closed all the road. Like the taxis weren't going, the buses were shut down.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, oh no, how am I going to get home?
Oh, shoot.
Yeah. So I started walking, and literally in a snowstorm, and I saw the Good Life sign, which I'd never noticed before because at that time, Eastern College is actually located on Dresden Row.
Right.
And so when I'd walked around the front of the building and I saw that, I was like, oh, maybe I'll just go in there and wait out the storm for a little bit. Got in there and met one of the trainers. It was actually Adrian Bino. Shout out to Adrian.
Hey, yeah, he's been around for a while.
Yeah, and he really was. And he literally changed my life. He gave me an opportunity. He told me, he took me around the gym that day and kind of showed me around. And then I seen a whole bunch of girls preparing for a competition. And it intrigued me, and I thought, wow, how amazing they look, and they look so healthy and strong.
Right.
I was in that space where I was looking to evolve and grow, and I was so motivated and inspired. I was just jumped right in.
Yeah.
And so that was where my life completely changed. Went down an amazing road for a really long time, a few years in the fitness industry.
Okay.
I competed in figure and did really well, and I went on to do nationals and placed 7th in Canada. So that was kind of the beginning to the end.
What year did you compete? Because
that was 2013 was my nationals. And so I competed. I started in 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I competed for
so we must have crossed paths at some point.
I would think
because I did middleweight in 2012.
Yeah,
Come
100%.
third.
That's probably like how we.
Oh yeah, no, we've been following each other since then
for a long time.
Because you know how that community or 100%. Any community you get into, it's like, oh well, got to follow this person.
Exactly.
They're into it.
Exactly. Well, yeah, and it's like we're like kind of a vibe and a tribe. We all kind of roll that same.
Well, it's all
energy.
a community. Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
So that was when I started and finished. I excelled really well in it and loved it, but I was realizing quickly that it was becoming a form of addiction. And instead of it,
you realized that too, did you?
Oh, yeah, did I ever? So that
vain.
was a big smack in the face.
Yeah.
So vain, so unhealthy, because you look like the picture of health, but you're truly not.
Yeah.
And
especially here.
Oh man, right? You're like literally checking your muscles every 5 minutes. You're checking your abs. Are they tight enough? Are they dry enough? Am I big enough? What about the girl beside me? Oh, she looks better. Oh, kind of hit the gym next to her.
Yeah,
today.
I know, right?
You know,
always comparing.
100%.
Never good enough.
Never good enough.
And then you get judged by
well, that's it, right?
the show too. Exactly. So it's like a never-ending cycle of crap.
Right. Yeah. I remember my dad came to one of the shows and he said that to me. He said, they have no right judging you. And I said, well, I'm kind of putting myself out there to be judged.
Right.
Right?
Well, that's what, And I think that's what a lot of people have the biggest problem with is really just putting themselves out there in general.
100%.
In life.
Exactly. In anything. Yeah. Because we have so much fear and it's just these old programs that are just resonating within us that we never release or let go. So they just manifest and we become trapped in our own like self and never kind of get out and do the things that we desire or our hearts really want to do.
Yeah.
You know, so anyway, I let that, I realized at Nationals was when I came off the stage and they asked me what I was doing next. What was my next show? And
what was it?
I had no idea. I was, no, at that time I thought I'm getting my pro card.
Yeah, man, I had that vision too.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I remember that night we went back to the hotel, we had the party and everything, and I was so proud of myself and thought, holy shit, man, like, I made it, like almost.
Yeah.
You know?
National stage pretty big for people that don't know, like it's a pretty big deal.
You're right, yeah. So I had been against ladies and God love their souls, and this is nothing negative towards them, but they basically looked like linebackers.
Oh yeah, big rigs.
Oh boy, and I didn't even know how I made the cut. Yeah, right. Because I was quite jacked.
Yeah, you are fit.
Time. Yeah,
you're still fit. Very fit.
Yeah,
but a bit bigger then, right?
Oh, way.
Yeah.
But it was just all solid muscle, and it was so lean that it was just like I could wash clothes on my stomach.
Yeah.
That was all I wanted. I just had to keep those abs, right?
Hey man, I get it. I grew up like if World's Strongest Man was coming on, that was. You wouldn't get me out of the house. Like, that was my dream as a kid.
Yeah.
Then in grade 7, my doctor told me I wasn't going to be any taller than I am today. And he crushed my ego a little bit.
Well, then that just makes it easier for you to stack that muscle.
Right, that's it. So I was like, well, I guess I got to compensate somewhere.
I'll go wide and
right,
tall.
Exactly. At least I can control one of them.
Well,
right?
that's it, right? So, yeah. Anyway, that show was a big eye-opener for me because I had this argument with myself in my mind about going to that next level and what that was going to entail. And to do that and compete with them, I would have had to start taking steroids.
Right.
Which that was when I felt like, wow, I'm full of goosebumps.
Yeah.
Because I remember that day so vividly because it was like this crossroads, which we're always meeting. Every stage in our life we meet these roads where it's like each path is going to take you to a whole different place.
It's like blue pill, red pill.
Oh, exactly
right?
It's a matrix. It's all a matrix.
Crazy.
Which one was I in?
I know, right?
So I thought, you know what, thankfully I'm a very intuitive and like divinely connected person. Always been, but never really knew about those gifts.
Sure.
You know, because I was so just a human doing, not a human being.
Yeah, man, I get myself caught in a little bit of that too. Always do, and you're not really focused on you. You're just, what's the next thing on the to-do list?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's funny you said that because I'm actually publishing a book right now, and it's called the I Get To list.
I'd love to read it.
Yeah, so it's actually going to be a gratitude journal. So it'll be available. I'll let you know when.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
Because I've been getting into that. Obviously, some topic of discussion coming up, but like journaling, all that, like
good time.
You know,
it's a game changer.
Yeah, the pandemic really. I hate to keep talking about the damn thing,
but you know,
it just ruined. Yeah, well, I think it ruined a lot of people's like mental well-being, and you know, I mean, it definitely. You know, I lost a job, and you know, not to say my grievances or hardships are worse than. I mean, they're quite small relative to probably some other people's, but you know, you lose your job, you lose a dog, you know, kind of. Yeah, it kind of sets you down.
100%. 100%.
You know, you start doubting what you're doing and if you did the right thing, and you know, for your job, for yourself, for your family.
Exactly. It's like a spiral.
It is crazy.
Yeah.
So much to keep track of. And then like the pandemic's like, don't do anything. So then you just had to sit there and you were just kind of at one with your thoughts, and
exactly.
I'm no good up there.
None of us have ever spent that much time with ourselves.
Oh man, that's true though.
Well, right, and that's kind of where I turned within.
You turned within.
I learned so much, and I did. That's when I decided to really like get into the deep, dark parts of the soul. And, you know, and the dark night of the soul, it was. Yeah. And it was good. But, you know, I've realized a lot through that. And it's mostly you've got to really bring all of that to the surface, and all the feelings, all the energy, all the old programs, and it was time that we were able to do that. So I actually turned it around into a positive for myself, because I was in Toronto living in my condo. And I'll never forget, just after that same week that everything shut down and everybody was out on their balconies banging pots and pans. Like, I don't even know what. I think they were trying to just be together. It was weird. And I remember
everybody on their apartment balconies in Toronto. What part of Toronto?
I'm in Etobicoke.
Oh yeah,
in a really nice area. And everybody was just out like singing and hollering and like banging pots and pans. I have no idea really
how many people.
Oh God, thousands.
Really?
And it was echoing like if you.
Do you have videos?
I probably do.
Man, we should splice it into
YouTube. To God, I would love to.
Yeah, send it to me.
Dig in the archives.
Yeah, Noah could splice it in and we could see.
Oh my God, it's crazy. So it was actually disturbing, because after that, then we were like bound to our homes. We weren't allowed to go out, remember? Like, I don't know if it was like that.
I try not to remember.
Yeah, right? So here we are talking about it, giving it up more energy.
I know. But I totally understand.
Yeah. But honestly, I truly look at that time in my life as one of the biggest growth mindsets that I ever achieved to this day. And I'm grateful for that time, because instead of letting it define me and like break me, I actually used it to strengthen me and learn more and go deep inside.
Yeah.
Pull all that shit out that was in there, because even though you're living a healthy lifestyle and you're eating good and you're going to the gym and you're doing all these things, the thing that I really found was the biggest gift from that whole experience was the time to go inside and get to actually know yourself and to learn about the secrets of the soul, because that was really what changed, I think, a lot for me and helped me to create. I was already working with people and training people and doing meal plans and nutrition programs and all of that stuff. But I was never doing the mindset. And so it was a gift that I received, I believe, because I created a whole new method, you would call it. And I call it the MSB method. And it's the mind, spirit, body.
Yeah,
so
makes sense.
Yeah, all of my programs now cater to all three elements of what makes us who we are. And all along, I realized the mindset was missing out of everything that I was doing. So I was so passionate about my programs and helping people get healthy. But I was like, what? That's like, nothing happens when you first like, if you don't get control of the mind, you can't do anything from there.
100%.
Right. But like, I think we were like, again, said humans doing, not humans being. So we were like, just go, 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 go. The next task, the next thing, the da 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 da. And so this was that moment to just be. And so I realized and studied a lot and took a lot of, I got Reiki certified. I got all these different courses so that I was able to really understand what this higher power is, the one that gives us our life.
Yeah,
man. You know, that created us from a cell.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then it just got from there, and then I rambled. And I'm grateful that I did, because it opened me up to just so many new gifts and adventures and just amazing opportunities and meeting different people and all of that stuff. So, and more, and most importantly, was helping my clients on a whole new level.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's kind of what life's all about.
Yeah.
You know, fulfillment, you know, helping people kind of elevate themselves. And, you know, I can kind of relate a little bit. I mean, you're doing a lot of meaningful work, and my job, you know, also fulfilling, maybe not as much meaningful work. Like you're getting people healthy. I'm getting them homes, but
I was going to say, you know what? Nothing is like more than the other, because in your forte or your area of expertise is saving people from purchasing a bad
decision or saving them from themselves.
Literally, you think about that. Like what you're doing also is like trickling into all of their families' lives, because if somebody buys a bad investment and didn't have any guidance or anything like that, then they're ruining the other people's lives that are attached to them as well. So it's like a domino effect. So,
it's just not you, it affects others.
Exactly.
Everything affects everybody.
Affects everybody. That's right.
Yeah. So, man, that's cool. So I had a couple questions. So, you know, you said Adrian Vino kind of really give you that opportunity.
Yeah. So it was funny. I have to say this there, because it's it's funny, because it's like when you really want something, you'll do anything to get it. And he was willing to train me and be my trainer, but I couldn't afford to hire him at that point, because I was still really young, and
of course
I didn't have like that kind of money, and I was starting over from being an addict. And so I really didn't have anything. And so, except for my desire and my 2 feet and my heartbeat. And I knew that if I had those 3 things, I could pretty much do anything. And so, yeah, he said he was going to train me anyway. And he said I could goosebumps again.
Right. Hey, it's a big moment.
Oh, right. And I literally was like so grateful to him. And I said to him, I'm going to make you so proud. And I did.
Good.
Yeah. And then after we had finished with the training, and it was like a couple of years, because he was my trainer throughout the whole kind of process, most of it. Then I had accumulated some money, because I had actually been hired by the school, the Eastern College. They actually hired me as their EA.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I was like, just killing it, right? I was like, look, it's good. I'm feeling so motivated and inspired. I'm doing this. Like, nothing could be better. And anyway, so I gave him a Michael Kors watch.
Yeah.
And it was
wow.
so cute, because it was like what I could afford at the time, and I wanted to gift him something. So after one of my shows, I had gotten that. I was so proud of myself, because I was like, every little thing that you do, especially when you're rebuilding yourself, that just goes so far. Those little accomplishments. That's why I always tell people, like, clap for your damn self. Yeah, even if it's that you got out of bed today and you went for a walk. It doesn't have to be anything extreme. It's just something that you did different than you were doing.
100%.
You know, and that's how great people are born. You know, it's not through anything special. No one's special and then more special than anyone else. It's just some people are awake and they want to help wake others.
Absolutely.
You know?
Like, I'm guilty of that too, beating my own self down. And like, you know, sometimes my wife will be like, bro, you just gotta like, do you look at like 6 months ago to now?
Right.
Like, there's a lot of change there that you're not like taking into account. And like,
so true.
And I don't even, and I'm in the worst, you know, it's like your partner's like, I don't listen still. It's like, still like not like I'm still behind the ball according to me. But, right. But when you actually do take stock, and if you are doing the right stuff, like typically you can find like a couple little victories, whether it is you just got out of the bed and knocked a couple things off your to-do list.
Exactly.
Or, you know, you handled something with your client, or you put a fire out that they had a concern or something, or a worry they weren't quite sure about, and you kind of put that at ease. It doesn't have to be like earth moving all day, every day.
You know, one of the simplest ones, and it's one of the most highly effective ones to change your life, is the negative self-talk. You don't even realize that you walk somewhere and you're like, fuck. Oh.
It's okay. I'm told that time. Don't worry about
it. Anyway, you're like, fuck, I'm so stupid. Why did I do that again? Or, oh, God, I wish I could do this. Or, God, I just suck at that. I can't do that. Constantly, all day long, people say that. Like, and I hear a lot of it because I talk to a lot of clients daily that I'm just like, we've got to change that self-talk.
Yeah.
And all of those limiting beliefs, you know, that you've just been spewing out. So then when you confirm that daily, then your self will meet you there. 100%. If you confirm something maybe a little higher vibration, then your self will meet you there too. But it seems that people get stuck in that low, negative, just beat themselves up, tear themselves down, and then they wonder why they can't find energy in the days to create some new reality and a better future, you know?
Yeah, and I find oftentimes like people just automatically default to I can't. And they don't even, and they just
try.
And guess what? If you decide that you can or you can't, you're probably right on both accounts.
Exactly.
So if you want to sit there, I've guilty of it, 100%.
Yeah.
I thought about quitting a million times starting this real estate racket.
Right.
You know, it's a grind. And like my viewers will probably get tired of me saying it, but it's like, man, like whatever you decide is really what's going to happen.
100%.
If you want to fail and you think that's all you got, then you're done.
Fail. That's right.
Give up then.
100%. It's all mindset.
But if you don't want to stay where you're at and you want to do the things.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, well, like we said, like it doesn't have to be moving a mountain.
No, exactly.
Make your bed.
Exactly.
If you're not making your bed, just make your bed.
Small steps, daily tasks.
Every day.
Exactly.
Don't. Once you start, and it's a big thing too, like my mentor from Remax, like he was like, you know, he's a big proponent of like, you know, once you implement something, like you got to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Consistency.
Yes.
Otherwise, how are you ever going to know if you're doing all this stuff, but you start, stop, or this is crap, this sucks. It's not yielding a result immediately. And I got caught in that too.
Yeah.
Because we're all result-driven people.
Exactly.
But I find when you're really just hammering towards that result and you're not taking into account the person or the relationship and you're only treating it as transactional, I think people end up falling real short because people see through that shit.
Yeah, no, it's so true.
You know,
I always tell people to be not extreme, but extremely consistent.
Yeah.
It's not about like, sometimes my workouts are 20 minutes. But I do it every day, almost. I take one day off a week and it's not killing myself at the gym. Sometimes my workout is yoga. Sometimes my workout is Pilates. Sometimes my workout is at home with some bands and my 2 feet, my heartbeat. Sometimes it's at the gym pushing weights. Sometimes, you know, so it's like, you got to find that thing that makes you feel full and powerful and happy and excited to do it, you know, because then it won't seem like work. And that consistency can happen a lot faster if you actually enjoy doing it, you know?
What would you say? I just have a question that comes to mind, like, you know, talking about people and consistency and doing the right things. But oftentimes I run into like, and the most common answer, and it drives me, it's one of my pet peeves, because like I make time for whatever I want.
That's right.
And it's like I schedule time. It's like I manage a softball team too. It's like it's on Thursdays. And like I'm a realtor. So like a lot of us realtors, they think like, you know, we get a client, they own us 24 hours a day.
Yeah, 100%.
But it's like, yes, you know, and I treat my people like top shelf. Or like if you hired me and you wanted to view homes and, you know, I'd be very open and transparent. Be like, listen, unless we have something like SOS, like I play ball Thursday nights.
That's right.
From, it could be 6, could be 7:30. Like I'm playing ball.
That's right.
Like unless we're in an active offer situation, like I'm going to have to push out your show until
Exactly.
tomorrow or the next day. And, oftentimes Thursdays, like they're holding offers still Sunday, Monday anyway. Like there's no rush. So what would you say, like, for people that are always just like, well, I don't have time, or they're prioritizing, and I get it, family's important, like prioritizing other people ahead of them, maybe their husband, maybe their kids, maybe their mother, maybe their father, like, what, how would you coach people to get around that whole, I don't have time for me?
So it's funny that you say that, because most all people think that way.
Yeah.
And so what I actually do, I actually coach people through this particular question.
Yeah. Well, there you
right.
go.
And so
it's like it was meant to be.
Literally. So I actually had a client 2 days ago. We had this exact conversation, and she told me that she didn't have time to do certain things. And so I said, okay, so let's restructure the day so that you do. And so I made her write down what time she gets up in the morning, and what happens from there till she goes to bed.
Just a lot of free time in there, wasn't there?
It was there ever. And so a lot of the things that she realized, because we tell ourselves a story, and it's that I don't have time, or I can't do that thing, because actually what's happening, and this is all the mindset work that I've done to learn these things, is that you're protecting your old self.
Yeah.
Because even though people want to change, they don't.
Right.
Because they don't want to let go of that person they've created, not because they actually don't want to, but because that is now become a program in the subconscious mind.
Familiar to them.
Yeah, exactly. All the subconscious mind knows to do is to keep going the program that it's been installed up until now. So when people want to change, that's why you hear people saying so many times, God, I wish I could, I want to change it, but I just don't have time. And that they'll raw all the excuses as to why they can't change. But it's not that they can't, it's that their subconscious is protecting itself from change, because change is going to hurt you. Change is scary. Change is the unknown.
Why do you think so many people hate change?
Well, that's it. I love change.
Well, I've learned to embrace it too.
I used to hate it, yeah.
And I was very much a person, like, I had this good, like, mid-senior level job at Unilever. Like, I was making, 6-figure salary. I worked from home. I had a company car. And, I just got kind of caught in this, like, okay, I got these friends. I don't need any more friends. Like, I always used to say, I almost regret saying it, but I was so stuck in my ways. Yeah. I was like, I got enough friends. And I said, like, I don't have any more friend cards to give out. Yeah. Like, I'm good.
I've said that before too.
And then, like, the pandemic come.
You're like, shit, where's all those people?
Well, it opened some eyes, and some people ended up going away.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Which
is a good thing.
Well, some blessings in disguise for sure, right. And kind of makes you open your own eyes onto, who you think you know people.
100%. My dad used to say that.
Yeah.
You are the sum of the 5 people that you hang out with.
Yeah, and I kind of took stock of that, and who knows if they'll listen or hear this, but who cares? But,
right.
There wasn't an alignment anymore.
No, it's so true. And you know what? That's okay. Yeah. It's not anything negative. What I've realized is that some people are there for, like they say, a season.
Yeah, they have a purpose.
Reason. Yeah, they're definitely there for a reason, because I don't think anything happens by chance. I think everything's happening just as according to the way the universe wants it to. Yeah. I'm a true believer, even all the bad things that happen are meant to happen, sadly. And same with people that are taken from our lives, or just friendships that diminish. They're not supposed to go on with you forever. Some you'll have friends that will be forever friends, and then you'll have some that you need to let go of, and you have to actually do that. And if it's literally can save your own life, because I literally work with people that are, even their families drag them down, and don't understand why they want to be healthy or get into that cult, they call it. Like,
because it's making them feel bad.
Because they're morbidly overweight, and this is some particular one I'm thinking of.
Sure.
And they don't want to see that other person in their family succeed at something that makes them feel worse about where they are. So misery loves company.
Isn't it? It drives me. Sorry to interject.
Yeah, I know.
Isn't it crazy how much society secretly wants the next person to fail?
Oh, it's sick.
It's sick.
It is, yeah. It's actually
All like it's almost impressive because I've changed my whole entire mindset that I tried to like this. It's like it's very much not about me. It's very much about what you're doing. I want to know about what you're doing. I've been watching for a while, so I kind of want to know the story. And I find like, I don't know, since I've been kind of showing more genuine interest in other people, it seems like, the universe kind of realigned.
100%.
Back to the thing, like the result-driven thing.
Yes.
Well, I think I was just showing that too much. It was like, hey, you want to buy, sell a house?
100%.
Today, tomorrow?
You were creating resistance.
Yeah.
And so everything is energy. And it's, one of my greatest teachers is Albert Einstein and Nikola Tesla.
Yeah. Hey, there you go.
Obsessed with them too. And so that's kind of the rabbit holes I went down during COVID that brought me to these conclusions, and the fact that I read something Nikola Tesla said, and he said, everything is energy and frequency. And if you want to learn the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy and frequency. And I was like, oh, that's huge. And so I started to realize that everything that, including us, this chair we're sitting on, that telephone, is energy vibrating at a rapid speed.
Oh, yeah.
And so when you watch some of these brain waves and tests and things that were done from one of the doctors I follow is Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Yeah,
He's
I know him.
becoming supernatural. He's an incredible man. He's literally put his body back together internally with his mind. He was deemed to be paralyzed. And so those stories are the ones I threw myself into, and I realized that we're literally an antenna. And we are from our thoughts, which create our feelings, which create our emotions, which create our actions or lack thereof, is driving everything. And so we are literally vibrating at this rate, and what we're giving off is bringing back to us like a boomerang the energy we're giving off. So like you saying, when you were trying and shouting, doing all that was giving off try.
And my mindset, I was doing the right stuff, too.
Exactly. Right.
Didn't know what I didn't know.
Right. But you shifted your energy and you put it onto other people's stories to expose positivity in the world to help the collective.
100%. You fucking nailed it.
Yeah. So, I'm an energy mindset right now, right?
Yeah.
Even more so than the physical, because it's all here.
Yeah.
This is the mothership.
100%.
So you got to get a hold of that and become really good friends with it and learn how it works and learn the language of the universe, because the universe speaks in, like I said, energy and frequency. So if you're vibrating at a high frequency and a good energy, you're going to get good energy. And you're going to get that back to you. You're going to put it off. You're like the sun shines and we feel its rays. The same with humans. If you're shining human and you're a positive, motivating, you feel that energy.
Yeah, and that's very
within you. Yeah, it's just, it radiates, and then it raises your vibration and all the people around. And if you can stay on that frequency and around those type of people, then they're going to elevate your life. And that's back to who you are, who you hang around with, the sum of the 5 people. Because if you're constantly with people that are pulling and dragging and energy vampires, we call them.
Yeah, unfortunately, a couple of them, yeah.
Yeah, right? Then you're just going to always have that energy in your vortex, in your life, in your aura. And when it's there,
dragging you down.
Yeah, right? It's going to just, it's always like resonating at this rate that's just pulling other things that are vibrating at that same frequency into your life.
Man. Yeah, 100%. I've been doing a lot of searching in that regard for sure.
Yeah.
But moving back, I was just curious. So you kind of did your admin thing at Eastern College. You connected with Adrian.
Got into competing, went to nationals, had my little moment of the crossroads, and then that is where I decided, when they mentioned, and it wasn't Adrian that mentioned doing the steroids, because I'd started working with
Right. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say that.
Yeah. No, fair enough.
And so, anyway, I almost went there.
Almost.
I was about to do it, because I think it was Anavar they were recommending that I do, and I thought, Jesus Christ, I'm like so ripped. Like I just naturally build muscle. I have that type of a body.
Yeah, 100%.
So I thought if I do that, what am I going to look like? I'll send you a picture so you could post it of my last show.
Okay.
It's insane. I didn't even know what, like I look at it now and I'm like, who is that girl?
Yeah. I'll show you some pictures of like my post.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
It's like a different person.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Everything. Like I was so lost inside and I see that now. But you know what? Everything had to happen that way because it wouldn't have got us where we are today.
100%.
You know?
I just got lost in like the work. Like I never really cared about the getting on the stage and showing people.
No, right.
Like I grew up in this small town community down, like we used to work out in this old convenience store, was converted to a gym.
Yeah, yeah.
All the local guys, like they got a welding shop. They built most of the weights.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's
like,
awesome. You know, the old school.
Yeah, it was. It was like, not like the Arnold and stuff, but it was as close as we could get.
That's right.
School. And it was like, man, where I grew up, it was like, as kids, like the strongest guy was the coolest guy.
100%, the biggest guy.
The biggest guy,
100%.
So that was very much, and, obviously, call it short man syndrome. I don't know, but like, kind of around that same time frame when I figured out like that was it in terms of like, I wanted to play in the NHL too.
Yeah, nice.
I was like, oh, well, 5'6" guys. I think Ty Domi was playing then. I was like, well, he's about the only guy that height, so I might as well figure something else out.
Yeah, right?
But I got lost. Basically what I'm getting at is I just got lost in like putting in the work.
Yeah. Well, you know why?
More weight.
I'll tell you why you did. And it's funny to say, like, it's like things stand out to me now so much because of people that I hear stories, and I work so much with people that are like overcoming themselves. And for you, I would think, and I was the same, I loved the work because it was keeping me from recognizing the work I needed to do.
We could just focus on that instead of
this is so much easier. I'm busy. I'm doing this. I'm getting myself stronger.
I'm sculpting my body.
All right. I'm like, frick, this is healthy. I'm being more healthy. But really, we're denying our soul and ourself and like life. We're just stuck in this, what makes us feel really powerful and good, because we're scared of what is on the other side of letting that go. If that was gone,
the unknown.
Who are we then?
The unknown.
Yeah. Right. And that was where I realized I was stuck in this world, was when I knew I didn't want to do steroids, and I did want to keep competing, but then I was like, do I? Yeah. And I remember looking in the mirror, and I had this moment with myself, and I literally thought, holy shit, who the fuck are you? I didn't even know my own face.
Right.
It was so sucked in, and I was basically black, my skin, because I just came off the show.
Yeah, double spray tan.
Yeah, I was so ripped. And I'm like, whoa, I've lost who the frig I was and why I even did this in the first place. And so then was that another big freaking moment in my life, because I then took my power back. And I realized that I had all of these things that I wanted to do that I wasn't, because I was protecting myself from going out into failing at something else, because this I was good at.
Right.
So it was easier to stay here and do this. But then I thought, frig this, I'm freaking changing this whole story.
Flipping the script.
Yeah, I'm going to do something completely different. And that was when I ended up actually moving to Edmonton, Alberta.
Oh, you've been all over the place.
Oh, yeah. And I worked for KBR. It was an oil and engineering company.
Okay.
My boss was amazing. I was making like almost $200,000 a year.
Wow.
Crazy salary.
That's awesome.
Right? So it was like, of course I'm going to stay.
Just living the dream.
Yeah, I thought.
Yeah.
But it was, again, it was another stepping stone.
Yeah.
I had loved fitness, but I kind of just kept it to myself at this point, because now I moved. Now I'm into this really high vibing career that's taking me. I'm traveling a lot with my boss, and we're going to a lot of freaking conventions and doing all these things and all this stuff. And so kind of got lost in that. But inside of me, I had this yearning feeling of something was so missing from my life. And so I decided I was going to find what that was. And I quit my job I'll never forget it because I'm like, who quits a job that's making that much money? I'm like,
Well, I said living the dream. And I'm sorry to say it, but like you just associate those numbers with
oh, well,
being
exactly.
part of the dream, you know?
Exactly. I thought it was too.
Yeah.
But there was like, the pocket was good. Loved my life I was living, but I had this like emptiness inside of me. And I was like, what is missing? And I so loved fitness, but I was like, I don't want to be a personal trainer because they don't make any money. First of all, I mean, it's different nowadays. But back then
it was tough. Yeah.
Yeah. That was like 2014, 15. And then, so yeah, I decided I'm going to move to Toronto, picked a place. This is when I started seeing angel numbers. That's a whole nother podcast.
Oh, wow.
If you see, I've got on my necklace.
Okay. Yeah.
So 222. Yeah. So that's a whole nother like rabbit hole, but
we can always have you on again.
Yeah. We'll follow up, right?
Yeah.
So
I'll make a note. Angel numbers.
Angel numbers. Yeah. So I started seeing all these freaking signs. Like I would be like driving on the street and a truck would pull up and the phone number was like 1-780-111.
Oh yeah.
Or like a taxi would stop in front of me, 555, and I'm like, what? Like it was so ridiculously like every single day, all day long, all these like consecutively. So I was like, what is this?
What is happening?
I would look at the clock, it was 111 or 1010 or frig, it was always something. And it wasn't just clocks, it was like everywhere as I went. It was stores. I'd walk into a store, $9.99, everything's done. So like, what the fuck is this? Like a matrix that I'm entering.
Right.
So I literally Googled it one day, and thank God I did. And I read this whole article, and I think it's called Tethered Soul, if for anybody that wants to look it up. And it was incredible. I was like, oh my God, it's like the divine connecting with me and our past people, angels, all of these things that are their way of connecting and giving you messages. And it just blew my mind. Goosebumps again.
Yeah.
And so I started.
It's a little cold in here too.
Yeah, no,
Are you?
no,
Are you?
It's actually like I get.
Are you good? Okay.
Yeah, no, it's literally I get whenever I get like a moment of like an energy rushes through me.
You just get the bump.
Oh yeah, like things like that. Just because it was so profound in my life. And so anyway, back to the angel number. So I would Google each one, and each one had such a specific message. And so I was like following these intuitive signs.
Right.
And I started like really researching it and watching for all the numbers. And then, so I literally followed those guidance that I was given through the numbers, because each number has a different meaning. And if you Google them, you'll see what 111 represents.
I'll probably be Googling after.
Yeah, you will. And so you'll probably start seeing them now because I've opened your consciousness to be aware.
I'll keep you posted.
Yeah, I'm excited. I have so many people, like I have so many like friends and just people that I don't even know that reached out to me. They're like, I got my angel necklace. They're like, oh my God, that makes me so happy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so... and they're like, I see them everywhere now, and I'm getting so many messages. It's opening you up to awareness, to the divine, the thing that created us, the thing that is unknown to everybody. There is so much that we can't fathom because of our consciousness level. So this plane is on a whole nother level. And so when you explore it, you kind of see a lot more of it. So long story short, I followed the guidance, and the guidance told me to move and I leave my job. That's literally what the guidance I got. I started meditating. That was back in 2014. It's kind of new then. It wasn't really a big thing. People were doing it, but it wasn't.
I do it, but I just signed up for the Headspace app. And
oh, nice.
I was like, okay, I'll sign up.
I'm going to send you some things. So one of the biggest things to catapult. So for meditation, and anybody that's we can share some links too. If,
Yeah, that'd be great.
For people to try.
Yeah, we can add it all in.
So the breath work is what is going to change and catapult you into meditative state. So most of the time it takes people about 20 minutes to get into that state of higher consciousness.
Okay.
If they even get there.
Right.
Because
it's
most
not like
of the time the monkey mind won't let you.
Right.
And you're like, oh, I should have done this. I should have done that.
Well, that's my whole problem.
Right? But if you can quiet that chatter and that mind.
My brain never shuts up.
No, right? None of ours do. But I can't say that it doesn't now. Now my brain works with me, not against me. But I've learned how to do that. And it's hard, let me tell you, because to quiet the monkey mind, its thoughts are just constantly racing. We have like something like, I think, like 80,000 thoughts per day, I think. And it's a crazy.
I feel like I have more.
Yeah, right? I'm like double that. Honestly,
Right?
God, are used
It's
to
just
me.
like,
Yeah. So what this breath work will do is it slows down the nervous system and it puts you into that higher conscious state. So then you can actually receive the benefits of meditation. So the first 10 minutes of your meditation without the breath work is going to be like monkey minding. What didn't you do? What should you do? You'll go back to like when you were a child that you should have done this stupid thing that or something, you know? Like,
yeah, I'll always be thinking about it. Whatever the obscure thing is, like I would never think of it and be like, oh, I got to make sure I do that after I'm done this friggin' session.
Exactly.
So I'm doing everything to think about something else.
Exactly.
Like my brain's doing it. Like I'm trying to focus, and then my brain's like, hey,
what, you forgot about this?
Right? What about that client? Or like, did you email this person? Or what about dinner? What are we doing for that?
Exactly. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop until you train it.
Well, some people, I have a couple of buddies that say they have no internal monologue.
Wow.
That's scary to me.
I was
like, are you a psychopath?
I was going to just say, I'm like,
are you a psychopath? Yeah. Sociopath? Maybe.
Yeah, right? Possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing.
It was a little alarming to hear.
Yeah.
I mean, not like I was terrified.
No, but I know what you mean.
I know how many things go in my head, and you're telling me that doesn't happen in yours?
Yeah, right?
I don't know.
It can be a good thing and a bad thing, depending on what their lifestyle is. If they're like, yeah right?
They're definitely more of a follower type person.
Okay, yeah.
Makes a difference or not.
Yeah, so it's usually the creative brain, the people that are more creative have that monkey mind.
Right.
Because we're constantly wanting to create.
Right.
And so, which is a wonderful force and energy to have if it's controlled. Because a lot of people are now diagnosed with ADHD. And
do you feel like that's
totally, I'm not going to take from the ones that actually do have it. There's definitely people.
Very over.
Oh, yeah.
Especially recently. Like, I feel like every adult, and I've said it too, but I've never went and got pills because I microdose.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I know a lot of people that do.
Yeah.
Do you ever hear of Mike Chong?
You know what? That sounds familiar.
So I do a lot of his Qigong. And so, it's like a healing modality. And he was talking about that on a podcast that I was listening to the other day about microdosing and how it's like changed his life and all of these things. Me, myself, personally, I'm terrified of that because I feel like it's drugs again.
Yeah.
Right? So it scares me because
I understand what you're right? For sure.
But I'm so intrigued by it because it's a natural source from the earth. When the earth gives us natural sources, like I smoke weed sometimes, and usually if I'm having monkey mind in the evening and I've got a lot going on, I just need to relax and go to bed. That's the
only way I quiet it.
Yeah, that's how I quiet my mind down at the end of the night and just before bed, because at like 7 o'clock, I'm like, I need to keep working. Like I'm an overachiever.
I can't sit down until it's 7:30, 8 p.m.
Me too.
And then I can be like, okay.
Now I
smoke myself on the moon, and I'm gonna go lay down on the couch for a minute, probably pass out in the middle of a show,
right?
And like my wife used to be like, "Hey, you're missing the show." Be like, "Listen, just let it happen."
Yeah.
This is my favorite part of the day when my brain can
shuts
just like
off.
So now she'll pick the show she wants to watch, and I'll like probably watch 75% of it, but it's like, say the show's an hour, the last 20 minutes. You can count on me having no idea what happened.
Right.
I'm just like,
in a whole other.
Oh yeah, you're
in meditative state.
Probably.
Right. So that's literally changed my life because I used to smoke weed like every night or like a couple of times in the evening. Now I literally have one little puff for my bed, go to bed because I don't really need it anymore. My brain and my nervous system have like come to such a balance. And so it's incredible what these breathing exercises will do. And I'm excited for you to try it.
I am too.
Right? Because what happens is like say you meditate, you set aside 20 minutes. Well, that's a long time to meditate, because the first 10 minutes you're going to be trying to shut your mind up. And then the more you try to do that, the worse it's going to get. And then you just get frustrated and get up and be like, fuck, this doesn't work.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that. One of the folks that I tried this, I've been trying to meditate for probably like 2 or 3 years now.
Wow.
It's just like every time it's like,
this is going to be
I'm trying. And I, for a bit, it was like a couple months straight. Every day did it. I was like, yeah.
Wasn't getting any benefits.
Well, yeah. And it was like, I just had another buddy who was just the biggest pessimist, ever. And he's like, oh yeah, if I didn't have results in like, a week, I'd just quit. I'd feel like it's useless.
Yeah.
Because he'd be like, well, because he'd make comments like, oh, are you seeing any improvements? Like, I don't know, but like I'm still doing it. He's like, well, why are you doing it then? It's like, because nothing comes over.
Exactly. I was just going to say, people do that. That's the sad
He also
part.
doesn't believe that like physio and chiro work.
Oh, wow.
Because he read some paper that says like the whole nerve ending and I don't know.
He's got his own set of beliefs.
Yeah,
right?
I was like, I go to physio and chiro, I walk out of there, feel great.
Oh, yeah.
And I usually never got to go back. Now, I got a neck issue from jiu-jitsu. That's another thing.
Oh, well, have I got a secret for you?
Well.
So I'm going to send you another thing. I've got to make a list of all these things I'm going to send you. So,
man, I'm going to be like the most enlightened man. Right?
We will have a whole other podcast. Meet the Nick.
I'll be enlightened.
Right? The elevated. It's so true, man. But yeah, so where was it? Where were we go? Oh, where were we going with that? Forget where I was.
Meditating. You're gonna send me some stuff.
Oh yes. So the qigong. So this is something. So I have a broken neck, actually.
Oh no.
Crazy as it is, I was in a car accident 3 years ago and T-boned, and literally on my door, driver's door.
Oof.
Oh, yeah. So I didn't know until probably 6 months later. It was during COVID. So I had gone home to Cape Breton with my family, and because I drove, because you couldn't fly.
Right.
Because they shut the flights and everything. So anyway, I drove there, and I had been working on my phone, and I was like doing all these like this, and my neck had gotten so jarred up that I was like, what is happening? It must be that I'm working down like this too much.
Yeah.
So I just stopped doing that, and it wasn't going away. It was so freaking bad every single day that it was excruciating. Like it was almost making me physically sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
The pain. So it was all down my shoulder, the back of my neck.
That's where it's happening.
Yeah. And all down here at the full thing. And I was like, I didn't know what was hurting or what was pulling. So long story short, I ended up requesting an MRI. The doctor said, we can't do an MRI. We can't just give you an MRI.
So our medical system's broken.
It's so sad.
That's another podcast.
Oh, yeah. So that was fine. I'm like, okay, so what can we do then? Because I said I had like ridiculous pain, like so bad. Well, I can give you medication.
Oh, yeah.
That's what she tried to give me, painkillers. I actually got her to write it down because I wanted to have that in writing.
Yeah.
That was my treatment. You don't even know what it is. I could like have a broken neck. I didn't even know, and I did at the time.
How much did the big pharma company get a check for?
Exactly. So I denied that. I said, no, I want to find out what the problem is. So I want that MRI. So she said, I'll give you an x-ray. She said, it takes 6 months to get an MRI. Fine, give me an x-ray. It's not going to show because I know it's not the bone. Or I thought maybe it's not the bone. It's like something in my ligaments or like pulled. So I thought an MRI was going to show better, which I was right. So anyway, they did the x-ray and they found like cracks, like lesions on my neck, 3 of them. And so they thought it was cancer.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. So the next day, I had a call from my doctor, and they scheduled an MRI for 3:30 that morning. 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what? Freaking heart palpitations tell me, like, I was like, okay, this is clearly serious. First, they told me it was 6 months before I would get an appointment. Now it's like not even 24 hours later, and I have an MRI appointment.
I know. That's a little cause for some alarm.
Oh, you have no idea. So anyway, we went in and found out it was broken from between my C4, C5, C5, C6, C6, C7, all fractures with bone spurs growing over them, which were impinging on the nerves.
No wonder you had a sore neck.
Right? And here I was just looking down more than I ever have in my life, because we're all like on our computers and phones more.
Driving.
Oh, yeah.
Texting.
Everything, right? So anyway, I ended up finding a really good physio. She did a lot of work, and then we clearly couldn't get the pain to go away. And up until just about a year ago when I started doing Qigong, I had massive pain and like excruciating. I'm telling you, it was almost to the point where I was ready to start taking something to help me sleep, because I couldn't even sleep properly because I had to cock myself up on pillows a certain way. So anyway, I started doing Qigong. I haven't had any pain since.
Really?
None. It's literally incredible. And if you study Qigong, it is moving energy throughout the body and opening up the meridians. So the meridians are the channels that are all through our bodies, like hundreds of millions of them, that go to all of the cells and the organs. So when we have trapped energy within those meridians, we hold in that pain. And so when we can release that energy through tapping and movement, I actually posted one of a mini Qigong session on my Instagram, for people to do, because I get it. It's like, we got to meditate, we got to work out, we got to do cardio. How are we going to do all these things into, like, you only have so many time in the day besides your work and your family and all the other things.
Yeah, where's it going?
Right? So that's why I like to kind of scrunch it down into a really effective, doable class. Because this particular class that I'm going to send you is like an hour long. Oh, nice. Well, not everybody has that time of the day, so you don't need that hour. And so I kind of chalked it all down to what parts of it that are necessary, and I started doing them every single day. And it was like 3 to 5 minutes. And I'm not joking, I can't even feel the neck. Like, nothing bothers my neck anymore. Now and again, like if I notice I'm on my phone a lot or something, I'll start to feel it start to trigger a little bit, and then I'll stop and I go do my Qigong, and I'm tapping my whole body, and it's incredible. It's just never came back.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I've been like, I mentioned microdosing, and I want to be respectful of your time too.
Oh, yeah.
But I tried like the over-the-counter stuff, and it was like, oh, well, we'll give you this, and, well, if this happens, well, we'll have to give you this other drug to counteract that. And then, there's like, next thing there's prescribing you drugs on drugs just because this drug does that drug.
Well, you know what the doctor said to me? She said, when they were trying to get me to take medication, she said she would give me meds for the day, because I said, how am I supposed to be on painkillers in the day? That's gonna I'm a coach. Like, I need my energy.
Yeah, I need to be.
I need to be. Yeah. So she said, "Oh, it'll be a mild dose," and she said, "But then we can give you something else that will help bring up your." And I'm like, "Holy fuck!" And then I said, "And then what about sleeping? How am I going to sleep if I'm on all these?" Oh, we can get. That's what she said. Yeah. Well, we can give you something to help you sleep. So I'm like, so I've got 3 different pills. You're
numb, you're high, and you're down.
And then I'm probably going to be an addict again, because God, no, that would never happen. My energy towards that changed, but still, I wouldn't.
But still,
I don't want that shit in my body. Yeah. Exactly. And I love who I am. I want my energy, and this isn't going to make me destroy that. Yeah, like, no way. So that's when you set out to find, and what you look for, you'll find. And I found healing modalities and lots of ways to work with that instead of taking meds. And like, back to like the ADHD and stuff, I'm sure I'm ADHD.
Same.
I've actually been told I was ADD back when I was a child. Yeah. The parents wouldn't have anything to do with it. They were like, that's
the kids that had Ritalin in school, it was, they might as well had a deficiency.
Exactly.
Like that's how they were treated.
Right? It's so true. And thankfully I had a really strong family, and my mom never even told me that was, they had diagnosed me with that.
Yeah.
Because my teachers were like, she doesn't like sit still long. She's onto this and onto that and onto that. Well, that was me as a child. That was who I was. So instead of trying to put a label on that and diagnose me and put medication in my body as a child, instead of giving me tools to be able
Well,
to
yeah,
work,
it's
right?
penalized instead of encouraged. It's like, oh, they're too busy. It's like, well, fucking let them be busy.
That's right. They're a
This might be the
soul.
next entrepreneur, you
Might
know.
be the next Elon Musk.
Right.
Right?
And no, you're doing too much stuff. You're detracting from our job that we just do 6 months of the year. And
Exactly.
I love my teachers, but it's like, man. Like,
yeah. You're not fitting this mold of what you should be.
Well, that's what society has, you know.
That's right.
And that's what this whole, like, the one silver lining I think we've, like, had with this whole, like, social media, internet thing is, like, oh, there are other ways to do things.
Yeah, well, it's so true.
You know, big pharma, and I mean, I sound like a conspirator now, but like, there are more channels to get your information.
Oh, amazing.
And you can fact check shit.
Exactly.
It's not just like you know, especially my parents, my generation, it's like, well, did you watch the news? It's like,
oh my God.
I don't watch the news.
I don't watch
and they're like, why? It was like, because I get my information from other.
The news is TV programming. Right. You know what? It's funny why, like, back when they created the TV was to program you to buy things, to get things, to feel that you weren't enough without that thing. So it's still doing that to this day. And
I think the news was just made to keep you informed.
God. Yeah, right?
Look at what, you know.
It's terrifying. Like, that's why it's so important to, like, get strong in your mind and go within and you know, and connect to that, because you'll know. Your knowing will be there.
Yeah.
If you're not connected and you're just watching all these extrinsic sources to
just get led around.
Yeah, to bring you information, well, then you're going to just, like, fail at life because those sources aren't quality.
Yeah, and I think they all have a, how would you say?
Ulterior motive.
They all have their own ulterior motive.
100%.
The same with, like, people are confused, like, my stance on, like, you know, some people in government. It's like, well, you know, I think in practice, it's a great idea. Democracy, everybody has a voice. But at the end of the day, I don't care who it is, whether it's Trudeau, Tim Houston, whoever it is. All they care about, whether they say it or not, is what can they do to get reelected for their next term.
Yeah.
And they don't ever follow through on most of the promises they make to people.
100%.
And I think that's where people kind of just get lost in the whole game.
Yeah.
It's all for them and it's not for anybody else.
Oh,
that's very much like you look at the federal, municipal, provincial, you know, even in your society, your community, it's all for me,
100%.
and none for anybody else.
No, it's so true.
And I'm, like, done with that.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah. But
yeah, I guess we keep forgetting.
Yeah,
I'll
we're
go
on
back.
the tangent.
So I will go back to the show. In the Mirror, definitely not showing, competing anymore.
Yeah.
That's so then, sorry, we actually skipped that. We got to the point where I was leaving Edmonton. So divinely guided to move to Toronto. And that is where my life really began. And that was in 2016, July of 2016, I rolled into Toronto. And I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have a place when I quit my job and got rid of my place in Edmonton. I just called my mom and I said I knew that I was being called to do something in the health and fitness industry. I didn't know what that was. I wanted to be closer to my family. And so I thought Toronto's a hub. It's a beautiful city. I thought, first of all, it was going to be a little too much for me because I'm a country girl. I grew up in Cape Breton. So being in a big city like Toronto kind of gave me a little bit of nerves. But I thought, you know what? I got to face the things that I'm scared of. And that's how I'm going to grow into the best version of myself. And so that's why I know I was divinely guided through that, because old me would have been like, friggin', I'm staying where I'm safe.
Right.
In this job that I have a career, that I have a paycheck every week and everything's set for me. But then when I was just yearning for that thing that was calling me and I didn't know what it was like I just broke free of the chains of, like, being in this safe place. And I thought, fuck it. What could possibly go wrong? You know, there might be everything fall apart, but then I can rebuild it. Like, I'm not a tree. I can move again.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like we always think everything's forever.
Permanent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when I left, I literally flourished. And that was like, I got there. I knew nobody. I knew one person. Mitchie, love you. If you listen to this. He was my best friend. And he took me under his wing. He knew everybody and anybody. He was just one of those guys that everyone loves and knows. He's like in the mix and all the like fun crowd and the good people. And I went to all these networking events, and he kind of helped me out of my fear of making those first steps into those venues and like
Got you out of that rut.
Yeah. And like being scared. So from there, I just started going to all of these functions. And in my mind at that time, I had this idea that I was going to do fitness and fashion. And I didn't know how that connected. I just loved fitness and I loved fashion. So I knew it was going to include those two things in some way.
Yeah.
And
well, you're always very well dressed, like in your videos. And
well, thank
obviously
you.
today.
I love that.
Yeah.
I always wanted to have my own clothing line and all these things. But then I was like, but I love health and helping people. I'm like, how are these two going to connect? So if you keep going and following that intuition and those signs, you literally walk right into your purpose. And so that's what happened. I was at a fashion show. I was invited to Stephen Caress, if anybody knows, he's quite a big fashion designer.
I think I've heard of his name.
Yeah, so he personally invited me himself to be at all the fashion shows during Toronto Fashion Week and TIFF. And so then I met so many people, front row seats and all. It was like the universe was like, here you go, here you go, here you go, here you go. And then so I would like meet all these people and bring them along with me. And I'm like, I just moved here. Like, you did? We thought you'd been here forever. And I'm sitting in the front row seat at Fashion Week.
You just fit right in.
Right.
That's awesome.
So at one of these particular shows, I was like, okay, so there's the fashion part of it, but where's this going? You know? Because I was driven. I was like, I want to make something happen here. Where is this all going? And so I went to this after party, and it was at the Ritz-Carlton, this beautiful freaking event. And I wasn't drinking at the time, like not for any reason. I drink now and again. I'm not a big drinker anyway.
I'm kind of fell out of that.
Yeah,
Makes me feel crappy.
Exactly. I just don't. I'll have like a drink with the girls.
I'd like
now
3
then.
beer.
Right?
Just the other weekend. It was even the weekend. I didn't even have anything to do.
Yeah.
I just had 3 beer and I just left.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, in the time frame that was appropriate.
Exactly. Yeah.
For anybody that's,
Yeah.
you know, walks that straight and narrow line.
Right.
You know, I was sober.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I have so many things I'd rather be doing the next day that would, like, be hungover on the couch or just, like, kill me inside more.
Exactly. It's so not worth it. You know, and you start to really realize that those days are so important. And, like, back in the day, you'd be like, oh, good, it's a hangover day. I'll just order in some freaking junk food,
whatever.
Sit on the couch and do shit. You become like aligned with like success and abundance and this like life that you know you can live, and then you're just driven, and then that stuff doesn't have.
It's like, what's the next day got in store? I can't lay on the couch.
Exactly. It's like that doesn't have a place in your life anymore.
So, you know, I still have buddies and like, hey, live your life, man. Like, I don't care. Like, it's no judgment. But
no, me neither.
But
no
like
judge.
when you tell me like you've been on the couch and some people got kids and like they're hung over on the couch till middle of the afternoon, it's like, man,
I can't.
One, you're taking away from more than just you.
That's right.
Taking away from your kid, and the rest of your family.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, I get people got to have fun, but for me, I think it'd be better suited. Anyway, that's just like my mindset now. It's like, I rather wake up early as I do, get my coffee, walk my dogs.
Get high off your own supply.
Well, that's it, right?
Right? We got this like pharmacy within us, and literally just like living in on purpose, I guess you could say it. That just opens up a whole new door, and those things like the alcohol and the being home
doesn't matter.
It's like you
don't want it.
No, you don't want it. And it's like people be like, how do you quit drinking? How do you want to drink? I'm like, because I'm not aligned with it anymore.
Well, you find you
found other things that fulfilled me, and that didn't belong in my life anymore. I didn't quit it because I thought I should. I quit it because I didn't feel like doing it anymore.
Yeah, my biggest part of my life, partying and drinking and doing all that, like looking back, like, you know, it was like you'd get to Friday, be like, all right, we're getting drunk.
Exactly. Well, because it was an old program,
right?
It's just a running program,
and it's like exactly, and you think you're enjoying your life, but really you're running from it.
Exactly.
You know, it's like, well, no, I'm having fun with my friends. It was like, well, but you don't have to get blackout drunk.
That's right. You didn't even remember that night.
So what are you running from?
Exactly.
What are you hiding from?
Yourself.
everything, like, you
The
know,
work that you need to put in to get to the next level of your life.
yeah. And I come from a place where, like, you know, commercial fishing, you know, very much, you know, Yarmouth County, Cape
Very
Breton,
much, yeah.
a lot of big drinkers back then.
Yeah, oh,
A lot of
big
people
time.
drinking for no other reason.
We grew up in a places
Yeah.
that were hard to be something different than that, because you're surrounded by
Yeah.
those small town.
And guess what? They'll point out the different people right away
Oh yeah, big
because they're
time.
quick to tell you,
Right?
hey, that's not normal around these parts.
Yeah, yeah.
It's my hick accent.
You did good.
Right? There'd be a little more French in the one
yeah.
I have, but anyway,
Yeah.
that's cool. When did you make it back to Halifax?
So Toronto. Oh yeah, back to the quickly Toronto. So
Oh, right,
in
sorry.
that party that I was at, and I was sitting there not drinking. I was just like networking and meeting people. Was the publisher of HOLR Magazine. And HOLR was just a baby that day. He was actually scouting for team.
So very much in his infancy.
Yeah. So I was the third person on the team, and now we're a huge published magazine. But back then we were an idea, and we were working in the investors' man cave. Is where we used to go for our meetings. This place was sick. There was like all these really cool cars, and the guy was like loaded. And anyway, he gave us his place to work, and from there we ended up getting our own office, and we built the magazine from literally the ground up. And
That's
shout out
amazing.
to Neil Shelton.
Shout out to Neil Shelton.
Love you, Neil. He's he's a family to me now, for sure. He's become that
Yeah.
kind of. He
Love
kind
it.
of, became a father figure, but also my boss, because I didn't have my family in Toronto. So not only was he my boss and partner, but really, really looked out for me.
Yeah, man, like I can respect that because, you know, I tell people this all the time. And, you know, if I have a good connection with you, I usually tell you pretty soon. But
Yeah.
if you're my friend,
Yeah.
client, family, whatever, we're all family.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm the guy. If you need something, you call, I show up. That's it.
Right? Ditto.
That's it.
Yeah.
You need
100%.
someone, I'll be there.
Yeah.
If you genuinely need me and I can be there, I'll be there.
Yeah.
You can count on me. And that's very much what I give to my clients, friends,
Yeah.
family. And you know what? I'm old enough now. If you don't want to give that back, don't let the door hit you in the ass. on
That's
the way out.
right. Exactly. It's
I'm
so
good.
true. The door swings both ways.
Right? You know, I'm happy to let you
Sometimes
in,
people
but
don't think that
I'll
way.
let you out too, as quick
That's
as you
right.
come. But
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was grateful for that because then I became the health and lifestyle editor of the magazine, which is a fashion and fitness. So
see,
there's
you
the
made
fashion
it
and the
happen.
fitness that I didn't, right? Crazy, eh?
It's great.
I was on a feeling and a knowing that I wanted to do something in that industry. And then boom, it came to me because I was acting divinely towards the things that my soul was feeling. I wasn't going towards something that was going to make me all this money. I wasn't chasing something that was going to get me popular. I wasn't chasing something that was not authentic. I was chasing my purpose.
Yeah, your
And
passion.
I found it, you know?
That's cool.
Yeah, it found me.
Yeah.
I we met each other, I should say, because, they say luck. Do you believe in luck? I think it's preparation and chance meeting,
Right.
and it's like, if you're prepared and you're taking chances, you're going to meet luck along that way.
Yeah, I didn't have such a grandiose kind of story, but like I found, like, especially recently, small changes
Yeah.
and, dropping some bad habits and
Yeah.
repositioning your mindset and yourself. Like, I haven't seen it like in droves like that, but like, yeah, every day it's like, oh, well, that's nice. That's happening now.
Right?
And it's like, back to the, like, I was trying so hard at the start, like, we both athletes. You just like,
Yeah.
oh, well, just put the work in. We'll get
Yeah,
the
yeah.
results. It's like, what it is when you're, whether trying to start a new business, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
fitness sphere, editing, real estate,
Yeah.
mortgages. Like, my grandfather always said, if it's worth doing right.
That's right.
So you just got to keep faith in like the process of what you're doing,
That's right.
and you
Find
just
the
got to
joy in
keep
the
going.
journey.
Because it's like you said, if you feel like, you can't do it and you want to give up, you're probably right.
Right.
But if you feel like you can do it and you're gonna put the effort in,
Right.
and focus on the right stuff, then I'm very well full believer that you can do that too.
100%.
But it's up to you.
Yeah. And it's all like intrinsic motivation. When you can work from a place of intrinsic motivation, that's like when you work out and then you're proud of yourself for achieving that. And that is your motivation instead of, I'm going to work out because then I'm going to treat myself after. Then you're turning it to like an extrinsic, which is something that is a reward base. So instead of doing that, you turn it inside and you become the reward. Then your life completely changes in so many incredible ways. Because I think that's what a lot of people do is they're looking for like, oh, I did this. Now what do I get? I like, right? Or I need to like,
very much,
you know,
immediate.
Right?
People are like, hey, I did this for you. Now what do I get?
That's right.
But it's like oftentimes to get what you want, you can't immediately be looking for a return.
That's right. That's
it's not the way the universe works.
Yeah, exactly.
At least from what I've been learning. Anyway.
No, it's so true.
So the more you ask for without giving back,
that's right,
the less you're getting back.
Yep, it's 100%.
It's that how would you say that old adage, like it's what you get in is what you put out.
That's right.
So if you're always taking,
then you're
you figure are you really gonna get?
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. You get what you give.
Yeah.
So exactly. And same with when you put out talk to self-talk and all that stuff. Like if you're constantly talking negative about yourself,
then
you're gonna get that. Yeah, you're gonna keep getting that back. And it's such a like fucked up way that it actually is, because it's so hard for people to step away from that the way they're being,
because it's familiar still.
Yeah, right. But it's like once you do and break free, then you literally meet a new person. So it's like that jump is hard, but once you make the leap, you just meet that new version of yourself. And yeah, I
forget who said it, and I'll get to the next one. But I always like this quote. It was like, but he was like, when we get to the points in our lives where it's like the most scary, like that's when you got to jump.
That's it, 100%.
Because so if you don't, you're just going to stay paralyzed in fear.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of us have the capability, but a lot of us don't believe in ourselves.
No, you're living inside yourself.
And all the people that said you couldn't do it.
That's right.
What they think or
even
what they
parents,
think.
Like our cells store energy, and that's what they do. And that's why people can't get out of their own way half the time, is because either they had school screwed them up and put negative limiting beliefs in their head, or their parents,
right,
or whatever that happened along the way that they stored and they believed and they became. So instead of rewriting a new story, they don't have that belief in themselves that they can change, or so they just stay. And it's such a sad place. Like so many people, just get stuck
in that self-destructive cycle, or maybe not destructive, but it's not doing any benefit.
Well, you're just on a hamster wheel. Like
you make your money, you spend it. You make your money,
exactly.
You pay your rent, pay your mortgage.
That's right. Most people literally are just going to work, getting through the day, scrolling social media, getting home, eating, and doing whatever they have to do, going to bed, and then doing it all over again.
I wonder why they're fucking miserable.
Oh my God, how the fuck do you live?
Right?
I can't.
You wonder why there's so many crazy people out on the road, social media, comment sections, all that.
True.
But winding things to the end here, I often like to try and give some viewers some stuff they could work on. So, and I know, obviously, we talked about a few tips and tricks.
Yeah.
But obviously, you're in the physical fitness sphere, you're in the mental wellness sphere, obviously in the editing field, But, for the viewers, if you had to give people some, maybe a couple tips of advice on, people that are looking to get started and, getting a little healthier, whether it's physically or mentally, where's a good place to start? Like where, if you had to give them like a couple tips for this physical part and a couple tips on the mental part, to help them kind of get going. Give them anything from this show.
First of all, reach out to me and I'll put you on my MFP.
Yeah, there you go. That's it.
The plug.
Step one.
Step one.
That's it.
Hire me as your coach.
That's it. No, absolutely. That's what it's
But
for.
for real though. So
But before they were
before they get to me.
Yeah, before they get to you to get that
100%.
maybe that familiarity or some comfortability and
So you need to,
some of the material.
Yeah, you need to start adding. First of all, you want to make a stop doing list. That's the first thing you're going to do before you even move or anything. You're going to actually, instead of another to-do list, like new things that you're going to let some shit go.
Hey man, I'm bad for that.
Right? Yeah. So you're going to make a stop doing list. That can be negative self-talk, overeating. That can be, and so this is like you're first starting off with the list. Then you've got to follow up with action. So then you want to start cleaning up your diet because your food is building blocks and our bodies feed from what we feed it. So if it's shit sources, it's going to give you shit energy.
Yep.
And you're not even going to have desire to do anything different until you clean that aspect up, which is going to give you a euphoric feeling because you are giving your body a live food, and that changes everything inside of you because it's got nutrients, it's got antioxidants, it's got vitamins and minerals, as opposed to shitty sources that are literally just like putting like oil in a tube and expecting it to flow through there smoothly, you know? Exactly. So that's like huge, is cleaning up the diet. The second thing, or they're all kind of as important as another, is sleep.
Oh yeah,
sleep
huge.
Is huge. If you're not getting enough sleep, and that's restructuring your day. We all have the same amount of hours and minutes in a day, and it would blow your mind what some people can achieve in a day. It's fucking mind-blowing.
It's crazy.
You know, like I know some doctors that I work with, and they literally have practices all over. They practice at the office, they do this, they do that, they help out, and I'm just like, wow, how do you, like, even that blows my mind, you know, because some people, like, it's just incredible what they can achieve in a day.
Yeah, the amount of capacity they have.
Yeah. So you have to literally restructure and write down, and first of all, see where it is that your changes need to make. So that's sitting with yourself and having a conversation and determining whether or not you really want to change or not, because surface change and deep change are two different things.
Yeah.
Some people will see a sexy girl walk by and be like, oh my God, I love her boobs or her butt or this or that. I'm going to go get boobs, or I'm going to go work out at the gym and right.
Get
and
your
like,
booty band
get my
out.
booty band. Right? But then we have all of these things that we need to do within that are going to change who we actually are. These surface things are only going to take you further away from who you're trying to actually become, because you're altering yourself. And I'm not saying to not go do things you want to do if you want to, like,
look good if you want to.
Yeah,
like, make sure you're doing the rest.
Well, but make sure that you're loving yourself and doing the work within, so that you can have. We're a vessel, and so your vessel can only give you what you're giving it. And so if you're feeding it shitty food and alcohol all the time and not exercising, movement of energy, like I always describe movement as, like, doesn't have to be going to the gym and working out. You can go for a walk outside.
Yeah, I love walks.
Right? And what that's doing is moving your energy, and that's what it's all about, is literally moving that energy around and creating literally a human by different foods. So now you've got new building blocks, which is going to give you a new energy, new thoughts, new clarity, new desires. And from there, you're going to clean up that life, things that you're dragging you down, like the people. You got to get rid of those people. You've got to literally cut off whoever that is that's not meant to be in your future, you know?
Absolutely. And you know what? It's hard. It hurts.
It does.
It's not easy.
No, and I have that conversation with people all the time with my clients, and a lot of them have friends that are just old friends, and
they feel like they have to have them around because of the time. Yeah, I got buddies like that. It's like, and you're an outer lens looking in, and it's like, guy, like, you could make do with some better.
Yeah.
You know, not to say I'm the best one, but like,
No, but like,
you know, you look at a couple guys and, you know, or girls too, and it's like how they get used and how they handle it.
oh
I
yeah,
don't even see it.
that's right. Because they're literally not in that elevated consciousness, and that's fine. Totally. I'm not here to tell anybody they should be doing this.
And I'm not here to tell anybody who they should hang out with.
Exactly, or any of that,
Like,
right?
dude, live your life.
But if you want a
Yeah.
better life and than the current one you have now, you literally need to make that list of the shit you need to let go of, and that's people, places, things that you're doing, places you're going, people you're hanging out with. You need to start giving your body some nutritious food, start cutting out some of that fucking plastic and chemicals and processed food that you're eating, and you need to start literally moving your body, hydrating it more, and
Sleeping.
and clean up your sleep. And those things, another thing you can do, and this is why I'm creating the I Get To movement, because I literally, if like when I write my list and I write down to do, or if I write down I get to, it changes everything. That one statement, when I'm writing my to-dos out and I put I get to instead of to-dos, I'm actually excited because I've
Feels less
triggered
like
my
chores.
brain. I've tricked my brain into thinking it's something exciting and that it's going to get me further. So that's called intrinsic motivation. That's when you motivate yourself from within, and then it comes on the without, because everything happens first inside, and then like this mic, this rug, that it all happened here, that somebody decided I'm going to go and bring this out into the world. Well, the same is for the new you that's waiting to be born. You just need to bring her out. And in order to do that, you've got to level up with all those other things.
You got to level up.
Level up.
You got to do it. And it's only up to you, too.
Yeah.
Nobody can do it for you.
No, that's right.
Well, that's cool, man. And you know what? I got another meeting coming up in a little bit. I don't want to cut you short, but this was I feel like we could have probably talked for another hour and a half.
I know, right?
So we'll definitely have to have you on again.
Yeah.
But I mean, this was a great chat. I hope the viewers get as much out of this as I have.
hope so, yeah.
And looks like we got plenty more to talk about.
Yeah, angel numbers next. Stay tuned.
Angel numbers. And before we wrap up, where's the best place that people can connect with you, reach out to you?
So I have my website. You can get the link on my Instagram.
Okay.
In the little profile, I have my link there. You can get a hold of me on Facebook. Those are right
Instagram.
too. Mostly Instagram. I'm most active there.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks so much for coming on.
You're so welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're very welcome. It's been a long time coming. And
Yeah.
we'll definitely have you on again. So you have a great day.
Yeah,
Thanks,
good.
everyone. We'll
Thanks,
see you
Chris.
next time.
Bye, guys.
See ya.